Hello, Crawford. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Did you want to start by taking roll?
Yes.
Crawford Carpenter,
Here.
Nicole Green,
Here.
Lenita Mims, Ozzy Carter, Ozzy.
Present.
Hey, Ozzy. Brenda Lee, Raina Moore,
Here.
Scott Parsons.
Finally here.
Welcome, Scott. Latanya
Thank you.
Thompson,
Here.
Reverend Julius Van Hook,
Here.
Justin Van Zerber, Raina Hurley,
Here.
and Mark Danley.
Here.
We have 7 members present. Quorum is established.
Thank you. Well, first of all, good morning and welcome to everyone. And good morning and welcome to our new members, Mark and Renee. Nice seeing you. And by the way, without your presence, we would not have quorum. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And for those of you that are joining us from the outside, we are the Community Advisory Board, we're known as CAB. And we'd like to set the table for those in the audience here, as well as those who are coming to us via Zoom, so that we can have some housekeeping items. And let's begin with those who address or wish to address the Community Advisory Board during public comment on matters within the jurisdiction of CAB that are not on the agenda, or who wish to comment with respect to items on the agenda, may comment in person via Zoom or by calling in. Those participating in person here in the room should make public comment when called upon. Now let's look at Zoom. For those of you participating via Zoom, you should indicate that you wish to speak by raising your hand with the raised hand feature on your Zoom app. And for those calling in, you can call in by pushing 9 to raise your hand, and then 6 to mute and 6 to unmute. Our purpose here at the Community Advisory Board is to advise the Community Corrections Partnership, which is CCP, by providing information pertaining to the county's efforts regarding criminal justice. I'll give you maybe 2 of those ways. We should be providing input on community needs. We should be advising CCP on community engagement strategies, and we should be offering recommendations for ongoing realignment planning. And again, we're so grateful to those who have showed up today, so it's time to get to work. Can we now move to introductions? Committee members first. Just state your name very quickly and what region you represent. For example, I'm Crawford Carpenter. I'm from Central County. Scott will come around the room this way.
All right. I'm Scott Parsons, and I live in Morocco, representing Central County.
My name is Rena Moore, and I'm representing East County.
Nicole Green, I'm representing East County.
LaTanya Thompson, West County.
Mark Danley, East County.
Renee Hurley, West County.
And thank you. Let's move now to staff introductions. Let's do the room first. Let's start with you, Patrice.
Hi all, Patrice Guillory here from the Office of Reentry and Justice.
And let's do the 2 gentlemen that are with us here.
Okay, Captain Women of Purpose. Ivory Mitchell, Men and Women of Purpose.
Thank you very much. And Zoom, in order to cut this a little short, if you could introduce yourselves through the chat feature, then we will know who is with us. And we do have one other staff member. With the staff members that have joined us via Zoom, we will have them introduce themselves. And Jill, would we start with you, please?
Yeah, apologize for the background noise. I'm in an airport. And so this is Jill Ray with the Office of Supervisor Candace Anderson, and I will stay on the meeting until I have to board my plane.
Are there any representatives from supervisors or from county boards, et cetera?
Yes. Hi, I'm Ashley Goddard. I am representing Supervisor Burgess in District 3.
Thank you, Ashley. Is there anybody else? Seeing none, let's move on to the next phase of our agenda. Are there any announcements?
I'm gonna hold that for the right form.
Okay, all right then, fine.
We'll be respectful.
Okay, fine.
Oh,
Oh,
I do
yeah.
have an announcement. I don't know if I reported this out, the last meeting. No, I didn't. Office of Ranger and Justice was able to hold a community stakeholder workshop at the Rise Center for the Supportive Justice Initiative. It was a great turnout of folks. They gave us a lot of feedback. So right now what we're doing is pushing out a community survey. If you haven't already received my email about that community survey, please reach out to me. I'd certainly like to share it with you all so you can share it out to the community. What we're trying to do is gather feedback and input from county residents about their attitudes and sentiments toward restorative responses to harm that's done within the community. So we really would appreciate feedback from as many people as possible. Please send it out to your own contact list. And we hope all of you will actually participate and fill out the survey. And so if you have any questions at all, want to know how to access it, just certainly let me know.
Thank you. Is there any comment or public comment on any item under the jurisdiction of CAB that is not on this agenda?
Crawford, Jana had her hand raised.
Yes, Jenna.
I just wanted to make a quick announcement and introduction. The Game Plan for Success team has an additional reentry transition specialist finally. And his name is Tim Perkins. And he is on the meeting today. So just want to introduce real quick, Tim. He's the new reentry specialist. He'll be working in West County here with me. And we're good to go. We're still waiting on one more position, but right now we're getting back to a full team.
Thank you very much, Jana. Now, is there anybody else? I don't want to miss anyone on Zoom. Announcements or public comment? Hearing none, seeing none, let's move then to the next item, item number 3. This will be the approval of our records of actions from our meeting on September the 25th. My assumption is that you have read those particular minutes and reviewed them. Would somebody make a motion for approval?
Yeah, I so move that those minutes from September 25th are accepted.
Is there a second?
I second motion.
Is there discussion? Hearing, seeing no discussion, can you please call the vote?
Yes, Crawford Carpenter,
Aye.
Nicole Green,
Aye.
Ozzy Carter, Ozzy,
They can't vote because they're on Zoom. So
Yes.
They can vote when they're on Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as we have quorum established here, they can vote when they're on.
Oh,
I'll come back to you, Ozzy. Raina Moore,
Aye.
Scott Parsons,
Aye.
Latanya Thompson,
Aye.
Reverend Julius Van Hook,
Yes.
Raina Hurley,
Aye.
Mark Danley, Ozzy Carter.
I was wanting to say I wasn't present. Do I need to abstain or can I go ahead and vote? I wasn't at that meeting.
You can abstain.
Thank you.
Good
All
to
right,
see
we-
you, Ozzy.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 yeses, 1 abstention, motion carries.
Thank you. Let's move now to the next item, and the next item, and this is really the purpose, by the way, thank you, Scott, for getting here. We have 3 applicants, individuals who have a desire to join CAB: Alicia Hastings, Francine Podinsky, and Jeffrey Robinson. The order that we will ask you questions will be Alicia first, followed by Francine, followed by Jeffrey. And let's start with Alicia. Are there any CAB board members that have questions of Alicia? Let's start here. Oh, boy.
Well, I'll say this, I know. Hey, Alicia, I'm glad you applied. To write questions, so.
Okay. You want me to start?
Yeah, you start now.
Okay, all right. Alicia, good morning. And first of all, I noticed here by reading your application that you live in Brentwood and you work in Antioch. I think that's some good, what we call East County representation. I think you made a statement here that you said it's the opportunity to acquire practical experience of effective board functioning and the decision-making process. My question to you, what makes you think this board functions effectively? Alicia. I think you're on mute, Alicia.
I do not see her in the Zoom room.
Okay. All right, that's all right. Let's move then to the next candidate then. Maybe she'll come back or we'll have to circle back. The next candidate then, Francine. Good morning to you, Francine. Give me a second here to call your name up here. Francine. You have indicated that you desire to be a member of CAB. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm looking for ways I can contribute as a retiree to the community. And one area I've had some experience with in my 35 years at City College of San Francisco is in our department, which was broadcast electronic media arts. We had always had second chance students in our program. Some worked out and some didn't. And it was a very strong program with strong counseling support. And that's sort of what I would have to offer. I think when people are getting out of incarceration, they need some focus and purpose in life that would make them a successful community member. And I don't know if Diablo Valley College out here has such a program, but if they don't, I would certainly encourage them to create one and support people who have interest in some area they want to improve themselves and become part of the community in a more positive way than maybe they exited as, to reduce recidivism. I'm interested in reducing recidivism and helping people become a positive member of the community.
Thank you. Are there any comments from board members or questions for Francine?
So I heard you say that you're interested in I don't want to, I hate to quote wrong, recidivism, and that's one thing that we do focus on. So very excited to hear you say that. Do you have some ideas on how we may go about that as a board, or ideas that you can bring to the board to help us through that process?
Well, the only idea that I'm coming with some experience is a second chance program at local community colleges. And again, I don't know if Diablo Valley College has such a program, but if they don't, perhaps the board can encourage them to have such a program. I don't know if funding is needed for these things, but it certainly helped a lot of people become really productive citizens and part of a community. And at the same time, there was always one or two people that maybe had been incarcerated so long they couldn't let go of the, I don't know, I didn't know what to call it, the prison culture or something, but we would just find a different program for them that was more suitable. Nobody was removed from the program. So my interest would be, can we make that connection? I do know some people at Diablo Valley. I know the chancellor actually, or maybe she's retired now, but that's my interest, is trying to find somewhere for people to have hope and purpose.
Are there any other questions from board members? I'll have one or two questions for you then, Francine. What are your strengths in working in a group setting?
Well, I've worked in a group setting all my career. I mean, I'm very interested in group activities, so I'm not sure what that strength would be, other than you need to work together and settle differences and present a unified front out in the public eye, no matter what's going on in your group.
Thank you. Francine, how would you prioritize housing, employment, mental health, and pre and post services for returning citizens?
Probably mental health and housing would be at the top priority, and missing there is education and training.
Thank you. Another question. What guidance would you provide to an individual preparing for re-entry into society?
I would start with what their interests are. I would find out what they've always dreamed of doing and help them move in that direction. Because in my experience over my 35 years at City College, that was always the best way to start. Often people, for example, would just die before they'd want to take a math class or an engineering class. But if they really want to be a sound recording engineer, it's interesting how after just one semester, they can't wait to take math and be a better sound recording engineer, because that's their purpose. So I would be looking at trying to find out from the person what their dreams are. What do they want to do? And sometimes that's a hard thing to find after release, but everybody has those somewhere.
Thank you. Another question for you. Where do you think, or pardon me, let's start again. What guidance, I'm sorry, I already asked you that question. Where do you think funds would be best dispersed to assist an individual who is currently incarcerated?
Oh, currently incarcerated. And I would go back to, if there's a way to get them started in what they want to do when they get out. Education in a good way. And there are programs that go into prisons and begin training. And it could be something like it, if they've always loved animals. Maybe they want to be a vet tech. Maybe there is animal rescue programs that could be funded into the prisons, so they could start working with, dogs or whatever. These are the kind of programs I think change people the most. Horses is another one. And in this area, there are a lot of horses. So maybe there's a way of bringing in horses that have been rescued in some way, and they're working with them to make them horses that could actually be with, children or something. I would get them to do things like that. Again,
Understand.
a defined purpose.
Another quick question here. You indicated on your application that you have an interest in programs and services, our standing committee. Why do you have interest in that committee?
Well, I was assuming that some of the things I've just said might be in that programs and services area. I don't know what your committee is, so I was guessing based on the name.
Okay, good guess. Now, let me take you to the final area here. We have a general meeting, and I'm concerned about your schedule. And if you're retired, if it's like mine, it's somewhat flexible, but I want to verify. We have a general meeting on the second Thursday of each month at 10 o'clock. We have committee meetings, and you indicated programs and services. They meet on the third Thursday of the month at 11. So just wanted to share that from a scheduling standpoint. We do have two other committees, OCEC, which is our outreach and community engagement. They meet on the third Tuesday of the month at 11 o'clock. And then finally, the people with the money, our our policy and budget committee, they meet on the third Friday of each month. Now you're at 1:30 now?
No, that's just for that one particular.
Okay, you're back to 11 o'clock.
Right.
And they meet at 11 o'clock. So wanted to share that with you, Francine, just from a scheduling standpoint. And are there any other questions? I don't have any more. Are there any other questions for Francine?
And this is my apologies, we did not include their application in the packet. So if we can go forward, just ask that they state what community that they represent. Or maybe you could share it, Crawford.
Okay.
So that way folks would kind of get a sense of what community context that they're representing.
Okay, when you say community, Francine, from your application, I believe you said you live in Walnut Creek?
I live in Walnut Creek in the Parkmead. I don't know what part of the county that's considered. Central, maybe? I don't know.
I believe that's central. And you did indicate that she is a professor from the City College of San Francisco. And that your specialty was broadcast electronic media art.
Yes, and media analysis, media literacy.
Wonderful. Well, that should be very helpful to those of us on the board. Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Might I add something here? I recently fell and shattered my hip, and I'm recovering. So my initial meetings will definitely be on Zoom. After the recovery is over, I can come in person if there are in-person meetings. But for the time being, I'm a Zoom participant, probably for at least another 6 months. I don't know if that makes a difference, but I thought I should reveal that.
Yeah, so can I talk?
Oh, yes. Please.
Yeah, so, per, Brown Act regulations, just regulations as well as our own county policies for our advisory bodies. Members are expected to be in person in order to substantiate quorum, and you are allowed up to about 3 absences within your year for as a member of CAB. There are instances where you can join via Zoom or virtually, and those are situations that are just cause or in emergency situations, and you're only limited to about a certain amount within a given time span. So the expectation is that once you become a member, that you are to attend in person unless there's some unforeseeable circumstance that you're not able to do so. So just something to consider as you think about your, your pursuit of membership here.
Thank you.
Hey,
We
I'm
have
an advisor to the advisory board.
and you're always And would always be welcome to attend via Zoom, or maybe there's something that, you work with us or you attend via Zoom for 6 months. Once you're in a position where you could attend the meetings, you could reapply or something of that nature. We will discuss that and get back to you, but thank you for your candor.
Somebody raised their hand. Jill.
Yes, Jill?
Yeah, hopefully you can hear me okay. It's a little noisy here. The one question that I have that's usually included in the packet, along with the applications, is the number of seats available. And so I'm a little lost right now on how many regular and how many alternate seats are available on the cab.
So presently, we have 3 alternate seats that are currently available. So, and we may very well have a voting member seat that will become vacant pretty soon. So in total, likely a 1 voting member and 3 alternate member seats.
Did that answer your question, Jill?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, I'll lower my hand.
Oh, okay, fine. And any other questions or comments regarding Francine? All right, thank you again, Francine, and thank you for sharing your situation. May we now move to the next candidate. That candidate is Jeffrey Robinson. Jeffrey, good morning, or wait a minute, you're on the East Coast. Good afternoon.
Good morning, good afternoon, everybody.
And would you be kind enough to share with us a little bit of your background?
Name's Jeff Robinson. I'm currently a client service specialist. I work in the public defender's office. I live in Tracy. Like I say, I work in Martinez 4 days a week. From Bay Point, actually West Pittsburgh. Moved out of West Pittsburgh before it was actually Bay Point. Was in Contra Costa County most of my life. That's the gist of it.
Well, thank you. Are there any questions from board members here for Jeffrey Robinson? Around, no questions? Oh, yes, Scott?
Well, I was just hoping maybe Jeffrey would be kind enough to share with us what he views his 3 strongest ability, skills, or attributes to be as an asset to this board.
Strongest abilities is I know the population. I have lived experience. I've strong live lived experience as far as I have been that population. Actually, my life changed before AB 109 was created. I work with the population as a client service specialist in the public defender's office. Many of my clients are AB 109 clients. I have a history of being an AB 109 case manager at Shelter Inc. prior to coming to the public defender's office. I work with many AB 109 clients prior to coming to Shelter Inc. as a social worker at Tenderloin Neighborhood Development Corporation in San Francisco. I was also an AB 109 case manager with Anchor Behavioral Health before going to the Tenderloin Neighborhood Development Corporation. I think one of my great skill sets is that I pretty much have worked under really stressful situations. I tend to not really panic. I've dealt with stressful situations, so I don't get agitated or excited. I tend to solve problems, work through problems. I think that's a really good attribute, something that I pride myself on doing is solving problems, working through things. I forget what the third thing was, what you asked.
Well, any one of them, you could do it all abilities or all skills or all attributes. I just wanted to give you as great an opportunity to share. And you've done a great job, by the way, helping me to know who you are, because I didn't see the applications. So
I know who Jeffrey.
you know the gentleman.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Jeffrey, no, actually, you've answered exactly what I was hoping for. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Go ahead.
So great intro, Jeffrey, because I was gonna piggyback. I didn't think you would go cover everything, but Jeffrey is an awesome guy. I've worked with him before. Knowing our recommendations that we're focusing on, which is housing, employment, behavioral health, pre and post release, what are one of the key areas or focus that, what order would you put that? What do you think would be what should be the first thing that you would think that we should work on as a board, or where your expertise can actually help us and bring that knowledge in?
For me, and it's just on a personal level, I think behavioral health is huge because in so many cases, we try to address housing, and housing is great, but it's been my experience that if you don't address the issues that are causing people to be without housing, that they tend to lose that housing really fast. And so many times, if you're not addressing the issues that are causing people to be without housing, it's just this cycle of people getting into housing, losing housing, getting into housing, losing housing, or dumping large amounts of money into the housing, and people, 5 months later, they're 4 months behind in rent. So I just believe that helping people address those issues that causing them to be without housing is just a huge thing to me. And that's one of the first things I ask my clients when they come to me without housing. So, why don't you have housing? To me, that's just a huge, first question I ask, why don't you have housing? That's just my initial question. So that's a key for me.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions as we go around the room here? I have maybe one or two questions here for you, if I may, Jeffrey. By the way, how's the weather there, other than rain?
It's a little drizzly today. The first day it's been clear and sunny every day except.
Okay,
but I
so
got my walk on the beach before it got drizzly.
Okay, I love it. Jeffrey, getting back to maybe one or two quick questions. What guidance would you provide to an individual preparing for re-entry into society?
The best guidance to me is get some skills. How do we help that person get some skills that are going to prepare them for society? Especially like now in the public defender's office, we've started new programs that are helping people post-conviction clients that are getting back into reintegrating back into society, who are getting third strike cases taken off. So we're getting new clients who are coming back to society, who being released, who've been in custody for 27, 28 years. And that's some of the things that we're doing, is helping clients develop skills around just like basic skills, just like reestablishing relationships with family that still exist, reconnecting with people that are still alive, like children that are still alive, like just connecting with people that are living normal, healthy lives, just how to connect with people that are living normal, healthy lives. And for someone that's been incarcerated for long periods of time, that's huge. I mean, we go home every day, we connect with family, we connect with friends. For someone that's been incarcerated for a number of years, things that we take for granted, it's like, it's huge. One of the things I do in my job, I transport people who've been in custody for long periods of time. I go to San Quentin, I'll transport someone who's been in custody for 20, 25, 26 years and take them to a transitional house. I transported someone recently who'd been in custody 26 years, and something like just dialing a cell phone is like a huge deal, So just helping somebody transition from someone telling them what time to eat, what time to go out to the yard, just simple little things, just just helping people transition to basic things that we take for granted is huge. Just, for example, going in the store, you know, not on store day, but just being able to go to a store, going to 7-Eleven is a huge thing for someone that's been incarcerated for a long time.
Thank you. Another question. Where do you think funds would be best dispersed to assist an individual who is currently incarcerated?
On skills that will lead to employment, even if it's just what we might consider low-level employment, but to me, employment is just huge. Any kind of employment. One of the partners we have in the program I work with, we partner with the Reentry Success Center, and to me, just employment is just so key. Especially like during the pandemic, a lot of people lost jobs, but I just think teaching people to be employed, even if it's just like minimum wage employment, just the pride that people get from being employed and earning a check. One of the things I try to teach my clients is that employment that, even if it's hard earned, employment that gives you the pride of you don't get in handcuffs for doing it, is just so valuable to people. You know, putting resources into giving people skills that will get them honest money, I just think is huge. To me, that's just, yeah.
Oh, no, wonderful. Again, any other questions before we move to just finally here, Jeffrey, your schedule? Our general meeting in person is the second Thursday of the month at 10 o'clock. Would there be any issues in possibly attending that meeting?
I work remotely on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the public defender's office would really like to be represented, so they would be really flexible with me around scheduling for these meetings.
Excellent then. And then just to share, we have the OCEC committee, which is outreach and community engagement. That's the third Thursday of each month at 11. We have programs and services. That is the third, OCEC is the third Tuesday. And programs and services is the third Thursday of each month, both at 11 o'clock. And then finally, your policy and budget committee, that's the third Friday at 11 o'clock of each month. So just wanted to share those particular meeting time frames with you.
Wouldn't be a problem.
Oh, thank you. Okay, unless there are any other questions here, we can then move on. Are there any other questions of the board? Okay, thank you very much. Okay,
You're
our
welcome.
next step. Okay,
Have a great day.
yes. Okay, board members, we've got 3 candidates here. No, 2 really. And you know, could somebody close?
I'll handle it. I got it. I just want to
Because Fran cannot do it. for 6
Yeah,
hours.
yeah, we have just 2, yeah, because the other lady didn't show up.
No, we only have one, because Fran can't do anything for 6 months.
Yeah,
Jeffrey's really don't.
Yeah, my thing was we have 2 candidates.
We got the same, I'm sorry, we'll listen. Okay.
Hey, we're good. It's one of those days. It's one of- yeah, for all of us, hey.
I can't be critical of you guys.
Yeah. Hey, it's one of those dead blame days.
Yes, it is. But we don't
Okay.
get through it.
All right, now, let's go back to our situation so that we can move forward. Okay, number one, we had 3 candidates. 1 dropped from the screen, so we'll have to circle back, and Garyana, maybe you can circle back and see what happens. Thank you. That leaves us with Francine and Jeffrey, the other 2 candidates. Of those 2 candidates, we have 1 candidate that may not be able to meet our subscribed meeting structure. So we need to discuss that first before we go to voting on the individual. How's that? So Patrice, we will go to you. Our meeting structure has been, and I believe you explained it to Francine, that we have been meeting, in-person meetings. So therefore, attending by Zoom, yes, you can attend by Zoom, but we have to have quorum. There will be a few hurdles, I would say. Maybe some guidance, because, for example, it just dawned on me what you just said. What if we have 7 here? She's a member of the board. Does it say a member of the board for in-person meetings?
No, the issue is that she'll still have a limited number of just cause circumstances.
Just cause, okay.
Able to join remotely and participate as a member. Now she can obviously, if after being approved and becoming a member, if she wishes to join and be absent, that'll count for her 3 absences. So it would just be a matter of how she wishes to schedule her time around, you know, what's permissible for her.
Yes, okay. So in other words, we've got some bureaucratic issues here that may prevent us, may prevent Francine, may prevent you from being an effective member. And let me cloak it with at this time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, she mentioned that
Yes.
she can do it 6 months from now. That is a, obviously lengthy time, but your approval, or you could still be considered at a later date. We do hold on to our applications and can certainly express to CCP once the names move forward that she will start effectively at the time that she's able to attend more regularly.
That may be the best situation. And seeing the way that CCP works, maybe reapply after 3 months, and then assuming another 3 months for you to get approved.
Yeah.
That brings you then right into the cycle for coming on as a board member.
Now, the only thing to consider there too is that you will then have a vacancy for that period of time.
Yeah. I guess my point was maybe just apply when she said 6
To
months.
reapply later.
You
Gotcha.
reapply. There we go.
Gotcha.
I'm having a bad day here.
Alright.
Yeah, if we could do that, and then that keeps her in the queue. Because with her background, that would be advantageous potentially, this personally, I feel, to this board. But we just have that little quirk here in the system. So we wanted to share that out loud with you, Francine, so you could understand. Do you have any comments before we end for discussion?
I don't really have any comments. I totally understand the situation. I didn't plan on falling or anything, but it's happened.
Yeah.
So, I guess, if I could just stay on the mailing list and know when the meetings are and attend by Zoom, then I would know what was going on.
By all means, we can make that possible. And Gariana, you have her information. And
Yeah,
put her on
and then I will attend by Zoom and be, kind of with the program.
And then guess what? If your hip gets better sooner than 6 months,
It might
reapply and we're moving.
I just wanted to let you know that I couldn't, right now, I was glad I could come on Zoom because I almost said, wait a minute, I can't do this. And then I saw that I could attend on Zoom. So that was ahead.
All right, then. So I think we've resolved that situation. Can we have a motion? Oh, wait a minute. Any more discussion? Okay. Could we have then a motion for, go ahead.
A motion.
Go ahead.
A motion. Motion.
So
What's your
What's your motion?
What
What's
he
your-
said?
Okay, no,
So that we know, but you're.
We both was about the motion, so I'm sorry.
But yeah, make a motion that we accept Jeffrey Robinson,
Correct.
correct?
But we're doing her first, right?
Oh, are we?
no, we'll do both of them. Well, okay, let's do it one by one. Why don't we do
Okay.
that? Yeah.
That's what I thought she was
easier.
about to do. I
Yeah,
apologize.
okay. No, we're all right. Why don't, okay. Take a deep breath here. Now, we were talking about Francine. Let's get Francine's situation done. Is there a motion regarding Francine to be considered as a member of CAB at this time? We have a motion.
Yeah, no, I'm
Gonna have her
What?
reapply later.
Well, I just said, we're gonna go,
Okay, you
Oh,
want
I
to form a motion?
I think he's leaving it open to
Leaving
what
it-
you guys want to do. Do you want to
Oh.
approve her now?
you want
Oh,
to, yeah.
Or do you want to wait
Oh.
and just have her reapply? And quite frankly, I think it can just be consensus where you don't even have to take a vote if you prefer the latter, but it would require discussion among you all.
If it's approving her. So we don't have to do it in 6 months or revisit it later.
Which will be as an alternate or she will be as.
Well, you don't know what the makeup of the board will be at that time.
Right.
And will that board, which will be very different than
And
this
this board,
board,
yeah.
appreciate the fact that we're making decisions that pivotal on something that's on their watch. So I guess, of course, we can have discussion after a motion, but as much as I was excited to see Francine be a part of our board, I'd be inclined to say that it's kind of a moot issue and there's no sense in voting on something that we can't really ratify, correct? So I would at this point defer any kind of a vote to the board at the time that she can effectively be a member. And that will be exciting. I think she has a lot to bring to us, but is that fair?
That's fair.
I agree.
Yeah. So why don't we just cut through the chase? Make it simple. Do we want to vote her on this board or not? Just say yes or no.
Not at this time.
At this time, that's it. Yeah, at this time.
Right.
Okay, is there a second to his motion?
Seconded.
Okay.
You get anybody?
What was the motion?
To not vote her in at this time.
Okay.
Is it clear enough? Because I could restate it if,
I'm clear.
okay, good.
All right, we have a second. Is there further discussion? Without further discussion, let's call the vote.
Just to clarify, who seconded the motion?
Yeah, Nicole, sorry.
No worries, Nicole. All right.
So we're voting on the motion not to vote, correct? So
Correct. The motion is not to vote her.
if I say aye to not vote, it's not aye, yeah, you know.
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
so let's have a vote. Yeah.
All right, should I take the vote?
Yes,
Crawford?
please.
All right,
Aye.
Crawford,
Aye.
got you. Nicole,
I,
Ozzy Carter,
Aye.
Raina Moore, Scott Parsons,
Aye.
Latanya Thompson,
I,
Reverend Julius Van Hook, Reverend, Raina Hurley,
I,
Mark
Aye.
Dan. Okay, thank you, Reverend. And Mark Danley.
Aye.
9 yeses, motion carries.
Thank you. Now let's move to Mr. Jeffrey Robinson. Oh, yeah.
I would love to move. Because I was so inspired by what the gentleman had to say, and I think you'd be a great member. So I move that we accept Jeffrey Robinson as a candidate to the CAB and to go before the CCP for approval.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion?
Ariana was, Latanya, that second.
Got you.
Is there any discussion? For those in the room, first, any discussion? For those on Zoom? Ariana, please call the vote.
All right. Crawford,
Aye.
Nicole,
Aye.
Ozzy,
Aye.
Raina, Moore. Sorry, Raina Moore.
Aye.
Scott Parsons,
Aye.
Latanya Thompson,
Aye.
Reverend Julius Van Hook,
Aye.
Raina Hurley,
Aye.
and Mark Danley.
Aye.
9 yeses, motion carries.
Thank you. Moving to the next item, we finally made it on the agenda, item number 5. And this is your time. She is going to review with us the CAB recommendations. Those are attachment, pages 8 through 14. She has it on the screen. It's attachment 2, and the floor is yours.
Okay, so policy and budget, we've updated our recommendations. We've made the adjustments to recommendation 2, 3, and 4 based on our conversation at the last full CAB meeting. And we've also updated our main focus recommendations, which is the 1, 5, and 6, and then we added on addition pre and post list. So we wanted to bring it to full CAB to have you all kind of review it, look it over. Make sure my eyes not cross-eyed and I missed anything. Just get your feedback on those items so we can, I'm not going to read through them. We can start with number 1, kind of take a look at it, let me know what your feedback is, if you see anything that may need to be adjusted or you have something that you want to add to it. Please do, so we can finalize or make recommendations for 24, 25.
So for point of order, because you did present this, correct? Is this some updates since
Correct.
the last time?
So in our last meeting, we just went over the recommendations 2, 3, and 4 to get your feedback as Justin and I was making adjustments to 1, 5, 6.
Got it.
So now I'm bringing everything back to you all because I can get your feedback on it and your final have to see if there's anything that you may want to add or change or. So you didn't really get that. You all did not see our updates to 1. You didn't see me and Justin final updates to 1, 5, 6, and then we added. So it's taking a look at those and as well as we added the feedback from you all to 2, 3, and 4. Okay.
So I reviewed it. Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
I reviewed it and I thought it was excellent. And I don't have any feedback at this point.
Okay. Anybody else? And I'll give you 2 a second because you just got here, so I'll let you look over what we've done so far and let me know if you have any questions, feedback, or. Everybody good to go?
Good.
Okay. Okay. I'm very excited about adding number 7 on there because that was our new addition. So really excited about all the hard work that everyone's put in place here. So no feedback, no suggestions. We're good to go. I'm happy about that. So, okay.
Wait, what page? Can you go to number 7?
That is on page 13. That's the pre-post release.
The big one.
That was, yeah.
That was the big one. Yeah. We're getting there.
It's at the very top where it says 2021. I left that there. I changed everything else. Do we always leave 2021 on there?
No. So is the expectation here that with these updates, these will be submitted to CCP
Right.
consideration? Okay, so then we can just update when it's time for the CCP update.
Yeah, I'm
with
gonna
the
head over
new
there to look
dates
at
for
the
this
dates.
year,
Okay,
or actually for
24, 25.
Yeah.
So I went through and changed, at the very first page, like
Mhm.
where it had all the old dates on there. The only thing I didn't change was that, at the very top. the header.
Okay, we can edit that.
Okay. Everybody read number 7, okay with that one?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have to vote on this, right? Voting item.
Well, I don't think we had it as an action item. I don't think we had it.
We did not.
Okay, okay, I just wanna make sure. Okay. Move on to the next one. Great. Thank you.
All right. Okay, by the way, thank you and Justin for doing all that hard work. Hey, I mean, above and beyond.
So I'm sorry, you're running off real quick. So in terms of next steps on this one, do you want, what are your expectations in terms of getting it to CCP for review?
Are we able to submit it for the,
The November meeting?
cause I wanna make sure they get the updates, cause we just adjusted some of the other ones, but with adding number 7, I wanna make sure they have the.
Okay. Then if that's the case, you guys probably should take action to accept this, so that way it's endorsed by the full cab.
Okay,
Though we technically didn't have it labeled as an action item, that's the only issue we have here.
Is it necessary for it to be labeled an action item on our agenda for us to vote on something?
Typically, yeah, so that way the public knows,
Oh.
what you're actually taking action on.
would I have enough time for would the December one be too late? I mean, I still gotta submit and everything.
I think, not necessarily, because if their intentions on even providing, because what's running up parallel with this is also the planning for
Right.
the planning of the 15 million one-time allocation.
Right.
So what we could do is request a CCP kind of update on both.
Okay,
If by then, I know, you all wanted to discuss like schedule, you all meaning policy and
Right.
budget, wanted to discuss scheduling meetings as your work group meetings for these various areas. And so if that is done in time for the December meeting, then I think that's probably fine to
Get
get
everything.
together.
okay,
Yeah.
I like that goal, because we do have to work on our schedule. You should just do it all at one time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and you probably want to share that with members, especially if you're gonna want them to attend a lot of those, or at least, or their representatives to attend any of those work group meetings.
we will pretty much vote on.
We'll bring it back to, yeah.
So we'll vote on these on our November.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's an action item to vote.
And we'll have the cleaned up version to vote.
Yeah, an
Okay.
updated version.
Excellent. All right. Okay. We now move Gariana to the next item, which is the update of our retreat. And hopefully the members here have had an opportunity to review the tentative retreat plan. And first of all, after your review, are there any comments on the board regarding the plan that we've initially set up here? And by the way, your fellow board members, Brenda Lee, who's out, she's ill, and Justin, they both sat down with us, and we were able to put this revised plan together, as well as the OCEC standing committee went through this, and they made, various changes, etc. So first of all, are there any comments from anyone regarding the retreat? It's similar to last year, but it's been tweaked, and tweaked based on input, which is key. Right. And input from those who were new and wanted to see one or, just wanted to make certain changes. They weren't significant. So again, no comments. Any comments from anybody on Zoom? Okay, none being said. Next, what we find has been the most important thing to address. Previously, we would do our retreat a half day one morning, let's say a half day Tuesday afternoon, and then a half day a Wednesday or a Wednesday afternoon. This is just hypothetically. The new group came up with, and those sessions were generally around 3 hours each, right around that time. And the review group said that may have been a little disruptive for people who are working. So therefore, why don't we try to do this in one day and have maybe a 2.5, 3 hour session one day in the morning of a given day, and then a 2.5, 3 hour session in the afternoon of a given day, and then the retreat has been completed. So that's the first question to each of you, your thoughts. I mean, Renee, how would that impact you? And then we'll ask you, Mark, and Latanya, and what's your name? Nicole, I'm sorry. And Rena and Scott. But I just forget your name every minute. Okay, let's start with that. What do you feel about a 1 day?
I think having it in 1 day rather than 2 days.
Okay.
2 days,
Yes,
so you didn't broke up your work week.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
So I'll share it. There's a lot of information to take in 1 day. So that was one, I mean, I am up for a whole 1 day. That's a lot of information to take in 1 day. It doesn't look like it because it's on that piece of paper. There's a lot that is covered, where in a certain part you can pretty much tune it up. So it's, you want to keep that in mind because we want our new members to really take in what we're saying. And that's a lot that's crammed in.
Good point.
1 day.
Okay. Mark? Work. Yeah.
And I don't know. Or is the impact of taking it in 2 days? I will agree on what everyone else believes it to be.
Okay.
Mark, sorry, you had to speak up a little bit for people.
Oh, okay. I can 1 day, 2 day, I can make the arrangement.
Okay, now, okay. What's your feeling?
It's a lot of information for 1 day.
It's a lot for 1 day. Okay. Good point. So we got, okay, now.
Is this in person or are we still doing?
Oh, in person. Where is yours now? What was your,
Me?
Nicole?
I'm offended because you keep, I'm a ring girl.
No, ring woman.
No, I mean, I mean, I like the point you just said, because we do it via Zoom, that is something to keep in mind, because everyone does have a job to make sure that their employment is flexible.
Yeah.
More than in person, so that's the real question, is everyone on cab, what is their flexibility, because everyone may not have that flexibility to be able to fit that. If they can't, then we would need to push it into one day, because we have to be, you know, I even gave it to me, I can't think of the word.
You want to be flexible.
We want to be flexible to everybody, so when I made that comment, I was just thinking about our previous on Zoom, so I think that's the number one question is, what is everybody's flexibility in time based on their employment, will help us determine how we can actually do this.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. So we've got that. And in my case, doesn't matter.
Because you're retired.
Okay, let's go to Rena.
Well, my schedule's flexible, so either way, whatever the majority votes for, I guess, my schedule's flexible. I could do either way.
Okay, boy, you're talking about people on the fence. My goodness. Okay, Scott.
Well, no offense here.
No offense here.
No, I clearly am sensitive to the fact that both of you have indicated that you prefer, right, if it could be held in one day. And
Before, I was told it's a lot of information.
well, I think it's a lot of information for 2 days. The bottom line is, I think we need to learn how to present information in a way. If I think in terms of the cab, we should be able to orient people to this in one day. And we're just gonna have to dismiss a lot of the chatter and start out early and power through it. But I understand totally. If you answer to someone else, yeah, I get it. So
I answered to forensic mental health.
yeah, exactly. So at least so my vote would go toward a one day and make it just a wonderful one day.
Maybe in the future, and that'll be further happening, just to look at how we do it. I know there's some boards where they have like an orientation where it's just a recap of all this wonderful stuff is, and then they have like an in-person, so that, you know.
No, you have to speak up.
Oh, I apologize, sorry. So looking at other ways, like you said, to be able to present this information. So I know that, I don't know if that's an option, but he said orientation, which really stuck out to me. So orientation and retreat, right? Two different things. So is there a way of maybe taking some of this information that we present and doing a Zoom orientation where we do the history and all that awesome stuff about the budget, and then a retreat where it goes into the subcommittees and that kind of stuff is separated? Are we able to do something like that?
That's not a bad idea, but just to clarify, the retreats have always meant to serve as a new member orientation and a refresher for members. Granted, during the pandemic, everything went virtual, so which led to the 2 days within a 3-hour block of time. But prior to that, they were held in person, and you know, it was also a good like relationship building opportunity between new members and more veteran members. So, but I mean, that's not a bad idea either, where let's say ORJ staff meets with each new member individually to kind of give a big kind of overview of the background and the history, and answer any questions that they may have, kind of like an office hours type of thing, and then structure the retreat a different way. But from what, just as an observer, from what I've seen, even if it's new, even if it's old information for the more seasoned members, it feels as though it sticks like the second or third time that they hear it.
Right, yeah.
So again, it's another opportunity for it to be a refresher, so to speak. But
So, and we'll have expectations, just an opinion here, but we'll have expectations that you're gonna be active on one or two, or one at least of the,
at a minimum one, yes.
yeah, a minimum of one of the committees. That makes 2 meetings a month. That would mean that month you'd have 4 meetings unless we cancel 1, 2, and probably not gonna do that, right? Because we're a public obligation. So it just could be, if we're gonna start attracting more people that are working and all, we need to be sensitive to that.
Our meetings for that month of the retreat.
No, we have the general body meeting as one of the days of the retreat.
Right, okay.
So we add on an extra day. And I want to say in the past, we didn't have any subcommittee meetings that same month. We waited to the following.
Okay, good, good.
Yeah, that's a lot of meetings.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot of meetings.
Okay, any other discussion now? Let's see, let's cover Ozzy. You're a veteran. Is Ozzy still, oh, there she is. What do you think, Ozzy?
Well, whatever we decide, as long as we have some snacks.
Okay, Ozzy, that's good. And then let's go to Reverend Van Hook. What do you think? One day or two separate sessions or separate sessions on 2 different days?
I'm flexible. I'll go with whatever the majority says.
Oh, gee. Oh,
This is a very decisive.
yeah, this is very, well, okay, well, why don't we do it this way? Oh, go ahead,
But
Scott.
does this require a motion?
No, not really, but
Oh,
we need to know how we want to go forward with this agenda and how we set this up, because we want to get the retreat set up, and our goal is with retreat to do this son of a gun in January, and in previous years, we weren't able to do that. And then this sets the stage for what, having a working year where we're getting some things done, we're identifying various items, and the stage is set. Because you'll notice, like right now, we don't have a full cab, or we had to wait for a quorum. Because, and know what I call it, Murphy's Law. Things go wrong, and for some reason, they go wrong kind of at the end of the year. And you'll notice what we'll be trying to do, and we'll see on our agenda here, our retreat. We want to front load things. So we get things done from January, hopefully through like September. And you can take a deep breath and pick up loose ends. And the best example is because we front loaded our ambassador program. Guess what? I'll bet we've got most of these doggone ambassador interviews done. And in previous years, we couldn't even get them done. And now we're done at this point in time.
We're starting about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lucky to start now. So that's why we want to front load things. So is there a proposal for 1 day or 2 days? Why don't we do it that way? Let's go around and see how many want 1 day, and you can't stand in the middle. You either got to say, I want 1 or I want to do it on 2 separate days. Let's just see where we fall out. Maybe 3 in the morning, take an hour break for lunch, unless she'll provide lunch. And, oh no, Ozzy said snacks, so that means lunch. And then we do this thing, wrap it up in the afternoon. But I want to be sensitive too for.
Well, though it's not a formal vote, you're asking us 1 day or 2?
Yeah, 1 day or 2.
How many want 1?
Yeah, right.
I'll just do 1 day, that's fine.
Okay. And that means we want to be sensitive on the information so that we are succinct then. Does that help? Does that help us out a little bit? Ozzy, you've been through 2 of these already. What?
What time are we trying to plan in January, December?
It'll be January. Yeah. Ozzy, what do you think?
Well, in all fairness, in all honesty, I really like the way that we did it last year, where we utilized 1 day as our portion of our regular board meeting, and then have a second day, because it is an awful lot of information to go over. And I heard it earlier. This will be my 3rd time sitting in on a retreat. And the second time I learned more than I did the first time, because I had gone through the experience of that first year. And my second year, definitely I learned more. And now I'm just getting up to speed where I can really understand and comprehend and follow along. So definitely, I'm just going to say we do really need 2 days. And I think an appropriate thing would be for one of our board days to kick it off and then follow up on an additional day. But we
Thank
still
you,
have to have
Ozzy.
some snacks.
Okay. Hey, Ozzy, I was trying to shoot and get us lunch. See, if we had it
Yes.
one day, we get lunch versus we do it 2 days, we just get basically, we'll be lucky to get coffee. So, okay, that's good. Your input is valuable, Ozzy, as one of the veterans. Now, Reverend Van Hook, talk to us. Reverend Van Hook, your viewpoint. Okay, we'll move on then. You know what it seems like then, we're now back to, we'll do it as we've done before. We'll do it 2 days, half one session, like hypothetically on a Tuesday morning, and then another session on the following morning or the following afternoon, whatever.
So you're.
2 sessions.
2 days?
2 days, yeah.
So, if we do 2 days, looking at the calendar now, your scheduled full body meeting will likely be scheduled for January 11th, which is the second Thursday of the month. And so you either have the option of doing, meeting consecutively. So that's either the Wednesday before, or maybe the Friday before, or you could break it up and meet on the 11th and then come back and meet the following week. Fortunate.
Brothers.
Say it again.
Okay, she was saying, what is it, January the 11th?
January 11th would be your scheduled,
Board meeting day.
board meeting. So that typically what we've done is we use one of your scheduled board meetings, general body meetings as your retreat day. So if you're breaking it up into 2, like we've done in the past, you can either do the 11th and say the 12th, which the 12th is that Friday, or the 10th and the 11th, the 10th being that Wednesday. So you meet consecutively back to back, or you can break it up and meet for like 3 hours or whatever on the 11th, and then come back the following week, any day that week that you guys might want, preferably probably the 18th, the following Thursday.
But wouldn't that interfere with one of your other meetings, OCEC or programs and services?
Well, if you're expecting to, so that will be the other consideration. Are you all expecting to have subcommittee meetings that month as well?
Wait a minute. Yeah, we wouldn't have them. Okay, I got you. Okay, we got it now. Okay, now again, this is for those of you that are going to be continuing. We're doing our best to be flexible here, so it's your call. What do you want to do? That's the doggone question here. What do you want to do?
And if you like, for the sake of time, because we're
about there.
We can do a poll of all the members to see what the preference is, and then go with what is the majority. If folks do that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I have a hard break at 12, so
Yeah. Okay.
polls,
So you'll do a poll then, or?
To all the members.
Yes, for all the members, and then we'll see where we stand.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions on the retreat?
What hours today would it be? So
Well-
it's gonna be 9 to.
Not even there yet.
Yeah, we just will at least land on the dates. You can expect at a minimum 3 hours, because that's what it's been in the past. That's at a minimum.
Yeah.
And no, I asked that because of employment obligations. So Wednesdays I do workshops. I was asking the time. So when I do the poll, it'll be hard for me to pick on the poll because I don't know what
Yeah,
time.
so on the polling, we'll do the suggested dates and block the time. We won't have the exact time yet.
Awesome sauce, thank you.
Okay, all right. Are we clear there then? Are there any other questions from those on Zoom? All right then, so we'll move forward then, Patrice, with that document that we've put together. And I think at OCEC, we will go over the individual slides, the PowerPoint that will accompany the agenda. You'll just get the agenda, and those that are, well, as we did last year, we'll have the PowerPoint, and we'll be putting a PowerPoint together for those, you know, for the leadership to present this to Cal. Okay, got it. All right, let's move to the next agenda item very quickly. We've got several reports here to take a look at. And can we maybe do board as Jill's still with us?
If not, I can, because I know she was trying to board a plane.
Yeah.
Not still on. Okay, so she did send some updates, so I can share that really quickly along with the CCP and PPC.
Okay.
One sec, So, since the last CAB meeting, Honorable Rodney Alamo Brown was honored at the Board of Supervisors meeting with lifetime service. He started local softball Sunday in Richmond. This was a really imperative engagement with a lot of the folks out there. And then the two new co-directors for the newly opened Office of Racial Equity and Social Justice were appointed. They are Kendra Carr and Kendra Kim. So we're really excited about that. And that office is moving forward. And then finally, the BOS did adopt the safe storage of firearms and residences ordinance, getting unincorporated Contra Costa. Those are some of the meeting items related to some of the stuff that you guys do or really concerned about. That happened at the last Board of Supervisors meeting. In terms of CCP met on the 29th. Actually, board members were appointed. There was also a presentation of the provider findings from the provider survey with a number of recommendations that were also lifted up. I would say a lot of the CCP members felt that some of those recommendations that were listed at the end are things that should be continued in discussion and furthered in some kind of capacity. There was also both myself and Nicole, probably for myself, provided an update in terms of next step planning for the one-time 15 million allocation for CAB's recommended priorities of pre-release engagement, employment, housing, and behavioral health supports. So the next steps from there, CCP members agreed that CAB Policy and Budget Subcommittee should serve as that work group to do the planning for that. That planning will likely take place over the course of several months into likely March or April. And so CAO's office did ask them to be sure to update PPC on those plans because they're expecting, I guess, something to find out where they could be here. But we'll continue to be in communication with them. And then lastly, which just sent out recently, and I'll be sure to get it out to you guys, the instructions from CAO's office to all of the AB 109 funded agencies, that's both county agencies and then the community programs that you all provide budget requests or recommendations on, were sent out. The next phase of that for you all is that policy and budget is going to review last year's request that CAB made, and then bring it back to full CAB to decide and take action on what you want the updated request to be for 24-25. So just a reminder, we're always, in terms of budgeting, we're always planning for the next fiscal year. Okay. That next CCP meeting is scheduled, it was rescheduled for November 17th, same time, this location. PPC did not meet for October, but I think they are slated for the first Monday in November. So,
Well, thank you. And Mariana, you've started with our ambassador meetings. Maybe for, to consider our time constraints here. Why don't you just leave them up and we'll give one comment kind of on each of them and just put those back up. And we'll just kind of, so everybody will kind of get a flavor for what's been done. Okay, let's start here. Burgess, Supervisor Burgess. Burgess, I am sorry. Nicole Green and I met with her. And it was a great meeting. And those of you that haven't had a chance to meet with her should. Interesting lady. Go to the next one, please.
any major highlight from that conversation?
Well, oh, go ahead.
Talking with her is always fun. She gave a lot of feedback in reference to housing work that's actually being done in there. She had a comment on every single section on here. She did bring up some of the things that are being done in Brentwood and Antioch around housing. She expanded on the employment. She really gave a lot of feedback in reference to the employment sector about county jobs, people being qualified. She's actually in agreement with the recommendation of work that CAB is doing. Some other stuff on here. A lot of feedback.
Well, that's what it's long.
Yes, I would say this,
Yeah.
if you have an opportunity, please read through. All the meetings were great and they gave a lot of feedback. I'll tell you this round and this year, the ambassador meetings were fun. Because they're like in agreement with all of our recommendations and they're giving us I got so much feedback from every single person that I talked to. So there is really outlined in there, but she had, she did give us some updates on behavioral health. She's going to be looking into some different things, but she gave us, what about Care Court was one of them?
Care Court.
We talked about the CARE Act, we talked about H3. So the conversation was really full. So she gave us a lot of feedback in each section of our recommendation.
Yeah, and again, they were extensive. Please read them. And the real benefit though is next year's board, if you read these, you can kind of get what you're going to need in your work plans because they lay out a lot of things on these meetings. So you don't have to spend a lot of time scratching your head. Read these son of a guns, take your yellow marker or whatever, go through it, you got it. Can you go to the next one, please? Because we are.
That's me too.
Go ahead.
So I'm sorry, my updates are real thick, sorry. So I was really excited this year. We were able to get H3 behavioral health as part of our ambassadors, which is really nice. So I was able to have a conversation, me and was. And again, I won't go through the whole thing, same thing. H3 really focused on the housing aspect of it. So she gave a lot of feedback and updates about what they're doing and recommendations for us as well. I tried to cover everything on there. One of the highlights that she did point out that I was really excited about is H3's work with Office of Reentry Justice, probation office, and the conversation that they're having, which was a big, we were really excited to hear about that everyone's talking about the in custody, outside how housing can be better. And they're comparing, one of the things she brought up is H3 didn't realize that probation is doing some of the same things they're doing. So to know that everyone's talking now was really big. And then she also talked about another highlight was the collaboration for like an action lab. They have action labs nationwide. So she encouraged us to look into what action labs are. I have heard a lot of folks talk about the juvenile system. So a recommendation to start from juvenile hall to catch them when they're young. And there's a little bit more things on there. She did give some feedback. She said her area, of course, her wheelhouse is housing, but she did give us some feedback regarding a little bit about behavioral health. From an employment standpoint, she talked about how individuals that they are housing, the employment needs that she see that they need to be sustainable in housing. And you can definitely refer back to that document for more in-depth information.
Great.
That was long too.
The next
The
one.
next one is mine.
Hey, wait a minute. How do we let Rena do it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I won't go, I mean, we can, Rena was, we had fun with that one. So same thing with that one, I'll say, oh, sorry.
He has a hard stop and then that means we lose quorum. So
Okay.
what we can do is bring these back
Okay.
for more conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we'll bring them
Now
back.
Rena be next, ready next.
And that does it. We're gonna have to, bring
Yeah.
them back.
Yeah. Just up share.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have to, bring the meeting to a conclusion because we've lost our quorum. And thank you, and we will be meeting, let me give you the next date. And the next date will be November 9th, 2023. So thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.